All right, everyone. Roger Stone, a friend of Donald Trump, of course, his 2000 campaign manager when he ran briefly for the Reform Party, has been suspended from Twitter. This is funny because he had a really popular account. He was verified and everything, and even that wouldn't protect him. Now, the excuse being used for a suspension, and it's not 100% clear whether it's permanent or temporary, like a 2-week suspension versus a permanent ban. It's not 100% clear at this time, I think. I'm not sure whether Stone himself has confirmed which sort of email he got. The excuse is, oh, he was being homophobic to Don Lemon, and he was insulting, like, all of these reporters and journalists. You do realize that reporters and journalists insult one another constantly, insult the intelligence of the whole nation, start wars, spread lies, and get paid to produce propaganda. I'm not so sure that that particular excuse matters. Now, Twitter already came out when people said the same thing about Trump. They said, well, he should be suspended. He's insulting people. And Twitter came out and said, yeah, but specifically, he's going after, like, celebrity crowd. It's not technically against our terms of service. So we can't really suspend him. He's being mean to the media. Who cares? He's allowed to say damn it. He's allowed to say hell. He also happens to be the president. Now, Roger Stone, I would think, would be high enough profile. So if the people that he's specifically going after are celebrities, there's a different threshold usually applied by sites dealing with celebrities as opposed to some regular individual. If I go out, I realize the number of fans that I have, the fact that I specifically brand myself and put myself out there to analyze things, technically gives me that same less protected legal status. If somebody satirizes me, if they insult me, it's no longer a case of, well, I'm a YouTuber. I got 10 fans, so I'm a private individual who's being harassed. No, it's a case where a person who has chosen to publicly brand themselves and who has established deliberately a large presence that they specifically desire to grow further is getting satirized by another individual. There's a different threshold in mind. Did Roger Stone threaten their lives? No. Did Roger Stone go after their families? No. Did Roger Stone insult their friends or other private individuals simply associated with these people he has a beef with? No. He insulted Don Lemon and Jake Tapper and some of these individuals. His account should be restored. That's not against Twitter's TOS, expansive as though they may have become. And even if they were, this is a case where somebody is going after legacy media journalists. Now, why is it? Let me ask you this to Twitter. How is it okay for Right Wing Watch to publish a defamatory article about myself and other independent media figures who we're still in a legal, like, I consider myself to be, I have enough of an audience so that I try not to worry too much about being personally insulted. Because, I mean, it'd just be stupid to. But what's the threshold? Like, there's still a legal gray area there when it comes to whether you fall under the legal definition of someone who is a celebrity or a public figure for the purposes of things like slander and satire and harassment. That's a gray area. But it's inarguable that somebody who works as an 8-figure-a-year pundit, who has millions of people watching them on the cable news, does fall into that category. They are definitely, absolutely, provably, and legally within that threshold. So how is it okay, Twitter, for a small-time media group to harass and defame us, the alternative media, when it's not okay for somebody who is essentially just a regular celebrity persona, sort of a B-list celebrity when you think about it, in addition to being a political figure of sorts? How is it okay for him then to get suspended for harassing people who are provably part of that group when a site, a dedicated so-called journalistic outlet, can't get apparently suspended from Twitter for open defamation of people who may not even fulfill that legal threshold? Why exactly is that? Now, we all know the answer. The answer is, of course, Twitter prefers the legacy media. They prefer Fox News. Other than Hannity, apparently, or maybe Carlson on a rainy day. They prefer the CNNs. They prefer some of these other groups. The NGOs that work with these tech sites, of course, they can harass and defame openly. It's very funny to me. By the way, can I point something out that's a little bit odd? Does anyone find it even slightly odd or fishy or anything else that groups that openly defame other individuals and have actually had to fight legal battles are now advising the TOS policy of some of these sites. I think it's a little odd. I think it's just a wee bit strange. I think it's very strange that Roger Stone is getting suspended from Twitter, either banned permanently or temporarily, for doing what all of these journalists do to one another on a daily basis. They're always harassing one another. But it's okay because they're all celebrities. They're allowed to, like, pick at one another. They do this for a living. Look at Keith Olbermann's tweets. Keith Olbermann tells people to kill themselves on a regular basis. Why is he not being suspended? And he's a celeb. Well, he should know better. He's got his own show. He publicly brands himself as, isn't he going to be held to some degree of behavioral standards? Why is it that these people can insult and harass and inflame and defame and libel and slander all day long? They face no repercussions from it. But a technically private individual, Roger Stone doesn't represent a media corporation, can't do the same thing to them when they're acting up. And where's the homophobia? By the way, looking back at the tweets that are, still actually on the page there when you look him up, it doesn't look homophobic. It looks like he's just calling Don Lemon a piece of human excrement. How's that homophobia? It has nothing to do with the fact that Don Lemon is gay. I don't even know. I don't know much about him other than he annoys me, so I don't watch him. And again, if you're offended, turn it off. Don't even bother, researching these people. Jake Tapper, hell, I don't care. Who cares if he gets insulted? Who cares if he's doing some insulting? But for Roger Stone to get banned from Twitter, I mean, he was a verified user, too. He's not just some regular peon like those of us who don't have the blue check mark. No, he was verified. How many fans did he have on Twitter? An enormous number, I think a six-figure total. And yet they say that his content is too edgy, it's harassing. Oh, come on, get over yourselves. You're not the moral arbiter of anything. You like it when people harass one another because it makes your platform more exciting, gives you more clicks, and thus makes you more money. It's how the internet was built, out of fire and chaos, and people attacking one another on an ideological basis, not by people being fluffy and happy and cute with one another. It's all about people disagreeing and debating and usually breaking down into hysterical stereotypes and insults. It's what built the internet. And these people. Like, you think Mark Zuckerberg early on, he didn't, when he, in his more drunk, less lucid moments, you think he didn't badmouth Bill Gates and all these other people? Oh, I could do such a better job than these fucking morons over at Microsoft or at Yahoo. Do you think that, the early wave of people at Google, they held parties and they sat there, playing pin the tail on the Yahoo mascot or something? Of course they did. It's just human nature. Sometimes people insult one another. They even say bad words sometimes. Sometimes we say poo-poo and butt. Sometimes it's even worse. I can't use those words, though, because your head might explode. What he's saying on here, if you look back through his tweets, isn't really that out there. Yeah, it's a little harassing, but he's harassing celebrities. Trump does this all the time. Clinton does it. Clinton calls a third of the U.S. population deplorable and irredeemable and evil and despicable and Nazis, basically. She never got in trouble for this, other than she lost the election, thankfully. It's okay, then, for some NGO to say, well, this person's, a white supremacist when they're not. Or it's okay for them, they're a fascist when they're not. It's okay for some organization to say, here's a list of commies, here's a list of Antifa members, half of them might not even be in Antifa. It's okay to do all of these other, potentially damaging things, but it's not okay to take to Twitter and very openly and publicly bash a celebrity. I'm not getting it. It seems like a double standard to me a little bit. That's about all. Peace out.